The neo-Nazis and the white supremacists wanted me out of the Republican Party, and guess what? I'm out.
That, ladies and gentlemen, was Rob Smith. Now, Rob Smith, he's a black conservative. And, he espouses all the talking points that a lot of those racist W conservatives will want to say, but they can't say. So they uses their mascot, they used to use their mascot, Rob Smith, to go use all the talking points. Now, Rob Smith is a very intelligent black man. Very intelligent. Ivy League graduate. But the difference between him and a Brandon Tatum or him and a Candace Owens is he's part of the LGBT community. And he sells that all throughout his content. All of his content is about him being openly gay, right? There's nothing wrong with that. That's just who he is, right? But he's a MAGA supporter, and he's a hardcore with the radical right? And he supports Trump, and he goes around saying that, hey, the radical right, the Trump supporters, the MAGA, they support me and they support the LGBTQ community, right? These are some of his talking points. These are the things that he talked about. I mean, he was so confident just a week ago, right? Where he started to thumb his nose up at other groups and other black people and everybody else. He was talking like this.
So this is a message that anybody that kind of discarded me or put me to the side or canceled me because I came out for Trump and MAGA in the 2018 to 2022 era, don't reach out again. Don't text. Don't send DMs. Don't call me. Don't email me. Don't do any of these things because I owe you absolutely nothing. And I don't use my platforms to get this personal sometimes, but I feel like I've been seeing so much of this lately because now that a lot of people that came out for Trump in the earlier era, let's just say the 2018 to 2022 era, although there were many before me, a lot of us were, excommunicated, called crazy things. People were calling us racists and Nazis and homophobes and all of these different things. And now that the tide has turned, that we've been proven to be right. We were just early, but we were right. And now that it's cool to support Trump again, you want to send me texts and emails and be like, oh, I'm MAGA now. And, oh, I'm sorry about what happened back in the day. Please hold the text. Please.
So he was riding high and he was thumbing his nose up at anybody that would listen. Right? He was coming online and saying that the W man wasn't the problem. You need to go out and build because this W man is building. Now, there's been speculation where, we know that he's LGBT and he only offers himself up to the W man, right? He would get on there and try to argue that, but we know he's very contradictory. He's a hypocrite in a lot of different ways, right? But he would get online and chastise other groups, non-white groups, telling them what they should do because this is what the W man is doing. He would talk like this.
And you better get like these white men. You better watch how these white men are moving because these white men are building businesses. These white men are not asking for permission. These white men are not trying to be on anybody else's platforms. They're not begging to be on this show or somebody's podcast or whatever. They are going out here and building their own stuff. So if you want to have something of your own, if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to have your own brand, if you want to have all of your stuff, you better watch what these white men are doing. And y'all are messed up because y'all think that these people are the enemy. You think that they're out to get you. You think they're trying to kill you, all this other crazy stuff. No, you need to watch how these people move. Because if you are somebody in business or entrepreneurship that is not that, you need to move like them so that you can get your stuff together. These men are not running around here trying to be on everybody else's platforms. These men are out here building their own platforms. They are building their own businesses. They're building their own podcasts. They're building their own companies. They are building their own media entities. They are building their own in every single industry that you can think of. And the only way that black people are ever going to truly be successful is if you start building your own. Stop talking crap about these white men. You need to stop hating these white men. You need to start moving like these white men.
So he would use these talking points, right? But then he's a hypocrite to the 100th degree because he would come out and he would he would listen to the grassroots, people like us, right? And he would steal our talking points to take them over there to that party, right? And he would say that I'm not African, I'm 100% black American. And basically saying that he's FBA. His grandparents and great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents are from the soil, right? And he would talk about the things that his grandfather went through and how, you know, he wasn't able to get his GI Bill, his benefits, right? We also know that a lot of our grandfathers wasn't able to acquire equity through home ownership, right? Because we couldn't get the loans. We know that through insurance policies, we couldn't acquire wealth through insurance policies because we could only get burial insurance, right? We know what they were doing. But he would make these statements and then go on CNN before the world and say that he was against DEI. Say that he said people had to work hard and get it based off their merit, knowing that for years, black Americans worked to the death, to the bone, right? And didn't get their just due. And this is why you had affirmative action first, and then the DEI stuff come into play. It's because of the racial disparities and things that were set in place. He knows this, but he's a hypocrite. Because when he makes this statement, check it out.
I am not an African. I am a black American. What that means is that my entire family has come from America. I am the descendant of people that were slaves. That's what that means when I tell you that I am a black American. That means that the people that have been in my family for generations built this country. That means that my grandfather, who served in World War II, that helped fight and defend this country, and was, by the way, denied GI Bill benefits because he was black, is a part of the history of this country. I am not Haitian. I'm not Nigerian. I am not from any of these other countries. I am a full-blooded 100% black American. And what that means is that I will speak on black American culture in any way that I please, but what I will also do is I will not allow for it to continue to be co-opted by Africans who come here with so many more resources than your average black American does, try to wrap themselves up in our struggle, our oppression, our history, and try to co-opt every space that we have built for ourselves, like they've done in the destruction of the Essence Music Festival. So don't try to discount what I say and try to pretend that I'm Haitian or I'm not American or whatever. No, I'm 100% black American.
And then he goes on CNN and he says this.
A black person, it is offensive. The idea that I've gotten anywhere that I am based on anything other than hard work, merit, and actual qualifications and receipts is offensive. And I think the Democrats, when they're pushing this DEI, they don't know how offensive it is to qualified black Americans.
So he got so comfortable and he thought that he arrived because he was completely selling out his own people. Saying things that's diametrically opposed to what his grandfather actually had to go through. He know all this. He knew this. But he still, because he wants to ingratiate himself over there with them W folks, he got real comfortable. But at some point, things got real sticky. It got real ugly. And he got a wake-up call and found out who he really was. Because they held a mirror up to him and said, "You don't look like us. You don't belong, pal. You don't belong." So he goes to a party, right, where there was supposed to be some type of conservative party. He shows up and things got real ugly.
America first! America first! America first! America first! America first! America first! America first!
Rob, can you walk us through what happened there? How did you end up at this event, and how did you end up almost encircled by these people?
Well, the first thing that I want to say is that to anybody that thinks that this is somehow in some way fake or staged, I want to tell them that the hate crime that happened to Jussie Smollett was fake. This hate crime was very real. So how I ended up there was, this is a group called the Republicans for National Renewal. I was in Phoenix, Arizona for an event called America Fest, which is held by Turning Point USA. I went to this event because I saw that a lot of other conservative influencers would be there. I actually DM'd with this group. I said, "Hey, I'm going to come. Can you put me on the list?" They said, "Sure." So that's how I ended up at the event. I had no idea that it was going to be infested with these people.
Was there some kind of confrontation that preceded what we saw in the video?
Yeah, there was actually. I realized that these people were starting to encircle me, and I kind of wanted to figure out what was going on. And what I will say, what a lot of people didn't see in that video is, number one, they did say the N-word. Absolutely, that was not caught on video, but that did happen. And so, look, I am fourth ID. You know, I'm an Iraq War vet. I can know how to defend myself. But I am looking in the eyes of people that were actual neo-Nazis and actual white supremacists. There were about 20 to 25 of these people, and that is what you do not see on camera. So I had a choice to de-escalate the situation with humor, which is what I did.
So why would you have ended up at an event hosted by an organization that would have even had people like that?
Well, the interesting thing about what's going on in the Republican Party right now in the conservative movement is this. There are a lot of different factions. I in no way experienced anything like this before, and I have been a prominent Republican figure, conservative figure, for the past 5 years of my life. I have seen people all across this country, white, black, etc., that have accepted me for who I am as a black man, as a gay man, all of this stuff. I had no idea that this really even existed out there until I was confronted with this kind of racial hatred to my face.
You're saying you had no idea that there was a faction of the Republican Party that espoused racist and anti-LGBT views?
No. I absolutely know that these people exist. In fact, if we want to have a conversation about white supremacy, let's have a conversation about the white supremacy that happens on both sides, okay? So
but
yes, these people...
I'm just wondering, just based on what you were saying, you know, a lot of times when, you know, on the left, they say, there are people in the Republican Party who have these views. A lot of Republicans say that's not true.
Yes.
You're maligning all of this. You're calling us all deplorables. You're saying we're all white supremacists. You experienced firsthand people you called white supremacists who are affiliated with your party. So are they right that those individuals are in the Republican Party and need to be pushed out?
Absolutely, they are right. And I will say this, when we have a conversation about white supremacy, we have to talk about it on the right and the left. We saw me actually face to face with actual white supremacists that are in the Republican Party. Absolutely. What a lot of people have not seen is me literally being the target of racial hatred from white supremacists that call themselves white liberals on the left that attack me every single day on social media and have for the past 5 years. If you go to my social media handles on X at Rob Smith Online or on Instagram at Rob Smith Online and see the comments, you see these people are out there. And so they say a lot about when the stuff comes from the left, they say, oh, well, these are not real people. These are just trolls. No, these are real, actual people that live in the real world. So we see this on the left and the right. I face off with these people on left and right every single day of my life.
Now, I could say this because I could say a lot of things because dude is a sellout, but I don't think that it was funny. I think that, you know, if he was my brother, I would tell him, like, you know, listen, man, you know, you out there, man, I don't know, like, what happened. I think in my opinion, a lot of guys like him be trying to stick it to the black community because their fathers and a lot of black men in the community don't accept their lifestyle. So they run over there to them and say, hey, I'm over here, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But really they crying out for acceptance from us, right? Because we don't accept, because you know, we don't accept the LGBT, that lifestyle from men, right? And that, to me, that's what it looked like he's actually doing. Like he's crying out to black people to accept him. So he's doing all this kind of weirdo stuff over there with them, trying to ingratiate himself into a group of people that's never going to accept him, right? So he's calling out. So he did one thing that I agree with. Because a lot of these conservatives, a lot of these radical left people try to act like only the radical right is racist, as if you don't get the same thing from the radical left, as if they're not racist. So I'm glad that he cut her off because she was trying to run interference. He cut her off and said, no, it's on both sides, right? But I think a lot of our people, because of the way the black community views, especially us black men view that lifestyle, a lot of times they just want to be loved and accepted. And when they don't feel it, they run over there to that group trying to be accepted. But then he got his wake up call, right? And I just tell him, like you don't have to hate your own people just because they're not willing to accept the lifestyle. That don't mean that we don't love you. That don't mean that we don't have love for you. I can love you, but disagree with the lifestyle. But I think that they just run, to me, in my opinion, I feel like they just run over there to them because of that, right? So now, like when I'm looking at that, like his life was in danger, and I hope that I will hope that was a wake up call for him, that he can wake up, because he's such a hypocrite. Because this is the thing, he called out the Republican Party for racial discrimination against gays and against all groups that's not white, right? He called them out and was saying, like, how you expect you guys to win in the future if you carry on this way? He was making statements like this.
The Republicans lost Virginia, New Jersey, and Zohran Mamdani is the new mayor of New York City. Republicans, white boy summer is over and a cold winter is here. If this straight white Christian man stuff that's going on X, if that was really the leadership of the Republican Party, and that was really who was coming out to save the party, then they would have showed up in New Jersey to vote. They would have showed up in Virginia to vote. They would have showed up in New York to vote for Curtis Sliwa. But they did not do that.
So while he's mad at the W folks for not accepting his lifestyle and calling them out, he turns right around when Mamdani, this new guy, was elected over in New York City, and he's now upset because those LGBT people supported that party, and that party supported them. He's mad at them for doing the same thing that, man, listen, this guy's a hypocrite. Look at this.
Can somebody tell me, how are you a gay for Mamdani? Like, make it make sense. How are you a gay liberal that is supporting Mamdani, that is supporting this man that comes from a culture that hates gays, that literally throws them off of buildings, that kills them? This is that culture. And you're going to tell me that you're a gay liberal in New York City and you want to vote for Mamdani?
So I say this to the grassroots black folks. What can we learn from this? And those of you out there that's part of the community that may be in the middle, you don't know which way to go. You're swayed. You grew up and you always voted. Big Mama took you down and told you vote Democrat. But now you don't like the Democrats, but you don't want to be over there with the Republicans because you feel like they're all racist. I say this, right? You know, you got to look at this thing in the middle. We don't have no friends and ain't nobody coming to save us. You got to work together with other black groups and force whichever party that you want to support to meet your demands like every other group does. You can't just go and just, okay, well, the Republicans let us down. I'm going to run over there to the the Democrats let us down. I'm going to run over there to the Republicans. You can't do that. We haven't supported the Republicans in like forever. They owe us nothing, right? We've been right or wrong, weak or strong, supporting the Democrats. So now the thing is, we know that in this country, supporting both these parties has been a colossal failure. We've been lied to for decades and generations by the Republicans. We've been lied to by the Democrats, right? And you get sellout groups that just want, they want to take advantage of a hurt community for their own financial gain. These are people like Rob Smith and all of them. They peek the grift and they just run over and ingratiate themselves into a certain community to make money. And so that group don't need you no more because they see you as a traitor. So the only thing we can really do as grassroots is come together as a group, right? As a group and create our own voting block, and then take our numbers over to whichever party we want to support if we don't form our own, and make them work for us by our numbers, in the states that we're in, right? Like we gotta do better, man. We gotta do better because these people like him exist all over in the Democrat. And don't get it twisted. Just because he's a black conservative, you got a whole lot of black liberals that's just like him. They just on the other side. That's just like him. They say and do all kinds of stuff to hurt the black community. They don't care. So, like, listen, Rob Smith, he got his wake-up call. He found out that they don't want him in the party. And he said, okay, I'm not in the party. Right? And but see, here's the thing. He already knew. Listen to me, y'all. He already knew that they didn't accept him. He wants acceptance from black people. And I think because of his lifestyle, this is just my opinion, because of his lifestyle, and a lot of us as brothers didn't accept that. We was raised up, growing up, that was an abomination. And you didn't do that. And I still think that. But that don't mean I don't love my people. That don't mean I don't love my brothers and sisters that's a part of that lifestyle. My love for them supersedes that, but I still feel the way that I feel. And I don't always want certain things around me. I feel like he's rebelling because of that. He knows how them people feel about him. He knows this. But he just runs over there for acceptance because that's that, and then he antagonizes the black community and flaunts his his lifestyle out to the world, but he's really doing that to us. That's just the way I see it. And I could be wrong, but let me know what you guys think. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. And remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.